Vacation season is underway, and you may be looking for a little escape with a beach read. Well, The View's Sunny Hostin is out with her new bestseller. It's called Summer on Sag Harbor. Hi, Sunny. Thank you for joining us. How you doing?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me again.
It's good to see you again. This is the second in your summer book trilogy. So tell us why you wanted to use an elevated beach read format to share stories of Black families and families of color.
Well, you know, I love a good beach read. It's something that I always pick up at the airport, and I recall looking around and not seeing any covers that sort of look like me. And I just thought, you know, I want to address some issues in my fiction writing, and why not be able to do it in an elevated way, but have it be sort of not light, but elevated and enjoyable during the summer. I think people can digest that kind of information a little bit better when it's wrapped pretty. And so I do discuss issues like colorism and gentrification in this book, but I think it still makes you feel good at the end of the day. And that's what I was going for.
So I know you've spent lots of time on Sag Harbor. What is it that draws you to that community that we see reflected in the book?
Well, it's a really special place. It's not as large as Martha's Vineyard. It's basically just one strip of beach, but the community has been around since the late 1940s, and I love historical fiction, and so this is a real place. And I was so attracted to the fact that it has this rich history as a historically Black beach community. And when you're there, you sense that real sense of community, and it's been there for a long time. It was started in the 40s by a group of civil servants and lawyers and doctors and teachers and nurses, and they just got together and they started building these homes on this, what was then not a desirable area on the beachfront because it was on the bay and not the ocean. But the community has sort of passed down these homes generation to generation, and so you're there with people that have real ownership of their community, and they have beautiful, beautiful stories as well.
You know, so many now probably think of Sag Harbor in terms of the swanky summer parties. They're probably surprised to know that there is a history to the Black community that does date back decades.
Yes, I think they are really surprised. That's been sort of a lot of the feedback I've gotten when people are reading this new book. I didn't know it existed, and that's another reason why I wrote these books, because I'm focusing on 3 particular beachfront communities, and people don't really know that there is this level of Black ownership. In Martha's Vineyard, where my first book was set, Black people have owned beachfront property since the late 1800s. I mean, I think that's pretty remarkable for most people to know. Sag Harbor since the 40s, and Highland Beach, which is where my next book is, that's where Frederick Douglass summered, and his descendants are still there. So I just think it's a really wonderful way of not only, you know, teaching history, but also addressing some of the issues that are important in our community.
As you said, as we started the conversation, you also weave in current events throughout the book. You talk about the pandemic, social justice, interracial relationships, and colorism. Why was it important for you to weave these elements in?
Well, you know, I think that people are uncomfortable talking about a lot of those topics. I'm not uncomfortable, right, because I speak about them every day on The View. But I think there is this discomfort to address some of the ills that are going on in our society and some of the issues. And so I don't want to give people permission to do it, but in a sense, if you read this book, my hope is that people will have book clubs and talk about the issues, discuss the issues within their families. And that's what happened with the first book, and so I hope it happens with this book as well.
You're adapting your first novel, Summer on the Bluffs, for television. Tell us about that.
I am. I can't tell you where it is yet, because where it'll be streaming, because our deal is not done, but I can tell you that Octavia Spencer is my production partner, and we have been adapting the book. We have a showrunner, and we're adapting Summer on the Bluffs into an 8 to 10 episode streaming series. So we're very, very excited about it.
Has the series been cast yet?
It has not been cast yet. I do have a wish list of people. Octavia Spencer is going to be in the film, and she's going to play Cindy, which is Olivia's mom. But I would love to have some people like Zendaya. I would love to have some folks like Tessa Thompson. I would love to have the Duke from Bridgerton.
Nice.
The asks are out, so we'll see what happens.
Now, I understand that Octavia called you and asked if she could co-produce this with you.
Yeah, isn't that wild? I actually
wonderful.
gave her a manuscript of the book with a big paper clip after an event we were both at. And I don't know what I thought was going to come from it. I thought maybe an Instagram post. I'm not sure. But she did call me after reading it. She said it kept her up for 2 days. And she was selling herself on me as to why she should be my production partner. And at that point, I thought, the book is not even out yet. Who knows? It's going to be a flop. I had no imagination in terms of it becoming a series. And she said, no, this is a television series, and I want to do this with you. And I'll you know, tie myself to the project. And I was like, yes.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. That's great news. That's great news. Congratulations. So, Sunny, I have to ask you, you wear so many different hats. You're a talk show host, a lawyer, a mom, a writer, and now creating a TV series. So when do you find the time to hang out on the beach?
Oh, well, as you know, because I see you, I hang out on the beach during our hiatus at The View, generally in August. And I try to get there on the weekends. What's nice about Sag Harbor is that it's very close to New York, where I live. And so it's in New York. So I can just drive a couple hours and be in paradise. So I try to do that on the weekends when I can. You know, Joy Behar lives there, so I get to visit my pal.
Just squeezing it.
Exactly.
Now, as one of the hosts of The View, I cannot let you leave without asking you what you think some of the hot topics are that you think people are going to be talking about this summer.
You know, I think people are going to be talking about who will become the Republican candidate for president. I actually think there's not as much fatigue about politics as people think, because people know how important this new election is going to be. So I think that's going to be the hot topic. Who is it? Is it Donald Trump? Is it Ron DeSantis? Is it Asa Hutchinson? I think people are going to be chatting about it quite a bit this summer. Okay, Sunny, thank you for joining us. Looking forward to seeing you in August on Martha's Vineyard. All right, take care. Okay, be well. Summer in Sag Harbor, everybody, is available right now.